It's another early season installment of the Battle of Alberta. The 3-0 Stampeders coming off a bye week after beating the Elks in week 3. Edmonton finally finding their way into the win column last week in Hamilton, now sitting at 1-3 on the season. Elks and Stamps ready for some Thursday night football here at Commonwealth. The big storyline coming out of that victory out east. Trey Ford, first start, first victory at quarterback.
Yeah, Trey Ford, you heard the guys talk about it in the studio. Did a commendable job, rookie quarterback, making his first start on the road. Was productive. Generally made good decisions with the football, including when to use his legs to keep the drive alive. But he's not the only twin playing in tonight's game. First start for the 5th overall pick, another first rounder in the 2022 draft. Jalen Philpott, with Richie Sindani out of the lineup, gets to start at wide receiver for Calgary tonight.
This man has had a lot of success against Edmonton, 10-3 versus Edmonton in his career, and obviously a stunning record in the months of June and July, September, not bad either. Chris Jones getting his team into the win column last week, 5-10 in his career coaching against the Calgary Stampeders. Calgary won the toss, said we want the football, so they will get it here on a Thursday night. Thank you very much for joining us at Commonwealth as Edmonton looks to make it 2 in a row, and Calgary looks for a perfect 4-0 start coming off an early season bye week. Chance to regroup here for them, playing Edmonton 2 games in a row. This will be taken by Philpott, far side of the field. He's got some room. Philpott tracked down at the 50 and eventually forced out of bounds. Well, they say they can use him in a bunch of different ways, return game being one of them.
Yeah, immediate impact in this one for Jalen Philpott out of the University of Calgary. Yeah, a lot of the talk coming out of the combine about the Philpotts, not necessarily the fastest 40s, not necessarily the best testers, but these guys play bigger, stronger, and faster than they test. And he has that 60-yard kickoff return to attest to that.
His brother had a 66-yard catch too, so all this talk about they aren't very fast, I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. People that didn't watch the film.
Great field position here for the Stampeders to start. Bo Levi Mitchell on his own 40. He's got an early completion in this game, and that'll go just short of a first down, 8-yard pickup there.
Oh, Bo Levi Mitchell, the veteran quarterback there. You see his early season numbers. Those, of course, include a win in their last game against Edmonton. Does that make it like half a back-to-back? Back-to-back for one team, not the other?
Yeah. He's coming off back-to-back 300-yard passing games for him, and said his team needs to get off to a better start, and they look for that now. They'll hand it off to Carey. Carey's got a big hole, and he's got a first down inside the 25. Let's take a look at the Calgary starting offense presented to you by Expedia.
And looking at that offensive line, of course, that unit anchored by the veteran center out of the University of Calgary, Sean McEwen. Malik Henry coming off a monster game, over 170 yards receiving on 6 catches for him the last time these two teams faced each other 2 weeks ago.
A 10-yard pickup for Kadeem Carey on his first touch of the football game. 4 receivers to the wide side right of the field here for Mitchell. Looks towards Carey in the end zone, off his hands and falls incomplete. Would have been a quick strike for the Stampeders.
Well, they got the matchup they liked. Getting their running back, Kadeem Carey, on a free release out of the backfield. Like a little bit of a mix-up there even in coverage as Jalen Collins, the corner, was late to go with him. Carey gets in behind but unable to make the over-the-shoulder catch.
Looked like Collins thought he was going to go, and then he was like, no, maybe I shouldn't, and then he went with them, and they dropped it in there for Carey, but he could not hang on. So this brings up 2nd and 10 for the Stampeders on the Edmonton 22. Logan in the game alongside Mitchell, who's going to look to the end zone again, and this time he overthrows Kamar Jordan, and it falls incomplete, and will bring up 3rd and 10 on this first drive of the game for the visitors.
Well, the drive of missed opportunities there. Matchup between a couple of veterans, Kamar Jordan and Ed Gainey. On that side, Jordan in behind him this time. Bo with a little bit of an overthrow.
Paredes out here looking for his 30th in a row in the regular season. 5th longest streak in CFL history. And he's going to start this game with a 29-yard field goal attempt just inside the left hash, and you can give him 30 in a row, and you can give Calgary a 3-0 lead here early in the first quarter at Commonwealth. Tre Ford victorious last week in his first start in the Canadian Football League. Start number 2 coming up here against Calgary next. His first start here at home for Edmonton. Not numbers that light the world on fire, but in a close football game, he found a way to win.
Yeah, this is exactly it. I think when you evaluate Tre Ford, it becomes so easy to get caught up in the Canadian quarterback versus American quarterback and all of those things. The bottom line, Tre Ford is a rookie quarterback in the Canadian Football League, and as a rookie quarterback, there are going to be some ups and downs, but as you said, he found a way to win.
Ford's going to swing this one out into the flat. It falls incomplete. And they'll set it up. Here's a look at this Edmonton offense that Ford's working with.
And we'll keep an eye tonight on that offensive line, of course, anchored by their right guard, Mark Cordy, free agent signing from Ottawa this offseason. When these teams met a couple of weeks ago, it was Manny Arsenault who led the Elks in receiving. He had over 100 yards in that game.
Huge game for Arsenault. Could use 10 yards from him here. Empty backfield for Ford. Thought about taking off, now he will, and he gets hammered at the 40 after maybe picking up a yard. Judge and Fraser Sopik in his face.
And certainly a lot of the talk from the Stampeders' perspective coming into this game and facing Tre Ford this time as opposed to Nick Arbuckle. You know, it's a little bit different, as we said, back-to-back games for the Stamps, but Edmonton with a game in between actually gives Calgary a chance to plan a little bit for Tre Ford, whereas if it had been a true back-to-back and they're kind of seeing him for the first time, and obviously a very different look with a quarterback who runs as much as he does.
Mango kicks this away. Logan on the return takes it back towards the 40. Doesn't get there. Bo Levi Mitchell will have the ball when we return. Had a couple of cracks at a major to open up this game, but does have a 3-0 lead on the road in Edmonton. Bo Levi Mitchell has his team off to a 3-0 start. This was the third win of the year a couple of weeks ago now for them against Edmonton.
Yeah, as you mentioned, back-to-back 300-plus yard games for Bo Levi Mitchell. Nice numbers in that one, 75% completion. Nice job spreading the ball around. We mentioned Malik Henry, the leading receiver in that one, but Beggleton and Jordan also came up with some big plays along the way.
4 different receivers with 100 yards receiving already on the year. Sindani, one of them not in the game tonight. Now they're going to try to set up a screen underneath to carry, and it's a nice pickup on first down against this Edmonton Elks starting defense.
Yeah, taking a look at this group along the defensive line. Christian Rector had a strong performance against Hamilton in Edmonton's last outing. Ben Davis played his first game last week, first start this week, taking over as the middle linebacker. We'll keep an eye on him as Dion Lacey was the leading tackler for them in the last meeting against Calgary. And Jalen Collins, of course, one of the heroes of the win in Hamilton with a late game scoop and score for winning points.
2nd and inches, and this will be pushed ahead by Tommy Stevens for the first down as Bo Levi Mitchell, much like his head coach, together as a duo, a lot of success against Edmonton during his career.
Yeah, it certainly has been, as you see Bo's Battle of Alberta numbers, including another 5 300-plus yard passing games along the way. More wins against Edmonton than against any other CFL opponent.
One of the things that's worked well for him so far this year, he's been sacked just twice in their first 3 games. So that offensive line doing an excellent job for Bo Levi Mitchell. They'll hand it off, and it'll be pushed ahead by Philpott as they get him involved in the ground attack, and he takes it on to Edmonton's side of the field.
Showing some of the skills he inherited from Dad. Of course, Jalen's father, Corey, a terrific running back with the BC Lions, later Winnipeg Blue Bombers during his CFL career.
6 yards on the pickup for Philpott, who will now slide out there to work against Jalen Collins. carry into the left of Mitchell. Looks to his left. Now he gets rid of it. High throw, and it will fall incomplete. He was looking for Philpott. Tried to go up and get it. Got maybe a fingertip on it. That'll bring up 3rd and 4 here for Calgary.
Narrow miss there again. We've seen a few for Calgary in the early going of this ball game. So it just looked like it sailed on Bo a little bit.
Cody Grace missed the first 3 games of the year due to injury. Back in the lineup, and he'll put a high kick up. Takes a while to come down at the 10, a 42-yard kick. And it'll be brought back to about the 14 by Charles Nelson. Edmonton and that man, Trey Ford, trailing by 3 at home against Calgary on Thursday Night Football. Well, it was a victory last week for Trey Ford in his first start out in Hamilton in front of many family and friends. He used his feet, and obviously he got that arm going a little bit as well, including getting Kenny Lawler involved, which is something that he certainly will want to do on a regular basis. For more on Trey Ford, let's send it down to our Sarah Orleski.
Dustin, when we asked him about last week's game, I mean, he kept going back to the fact that he loved that so many family and friends were there. He knows that there is a lot to build on after that game, a lot of improvement, though, as he starts to get comfortable in this role for it. And he said one of the things is that he knows that as he gets more comfortable, maybe he will transition into becoming more of a pocket passer. But right now, he's going to continue to use his legs as a weapon. He's not going to worry about any critics who say that he might not throw enough. He'll do whatever he needs to do to get the win. One thing Chris Jones said, though, is that he would like to see Trey get the ball out of his hands quickly, and when they are in field goal position, he needs to make smart decisions to make sure they stay in it.
Starts at his own 14 here. Pressure coming. He saw it. He got it away, and he finds Darrell Walker for the first completion of the game for Edmonton.
Always a good sign for Edmonton to see number 87 involved early. Darrell Walker here. There's another veteran in Trey Roberson on the corner. Trying to get those feet down. We'll take another look here. See if he keeps possession as he stutters. A bit of a bobble there. May have gotten away with one.
Ford to his left. In trouble. Trying to get away, and he does. Ford now opening up some room for himself. Looks down the field. Deep shot, and it's going to work at the 45. Are you kidding me? Kai Loxley hauls it in after Trey Ford works some magic.
And this is exactly the kind of stuff that Chris Jones saw on film, on the college film of Trey Ford at the University of Waterloo, that convinced him this guy can be a playmaker, not just at the U Sports level, but also at the CFL level. He is that good. He's that athletic. He's that elusive. Calgary, as I said, yeah, I mean, Calgary has had the opportunity to see. They know what he's about as a scrambler. Still unable to bring him down there.
It goes for 46 yards. Now he's going to keep it and take it up to the Calgary 40. Let's take another look at that play. This is what playmakers do. This is what guys who have this ability are capable of.
Yeah, there's no question of that. Again, you're talking about a guy who's among the best university sprinters in the entire country. So there's speed, but it's not just straight line speed, right? There's that quickness, that elusiveness, as I said, ability to avoid the rush. And great sign in that instance for a young quarterback as he comes out of that scramble. Not a great sign here as he takes a knee, but coming out of that scramble to still have his eyes downfield in a situation where I'm sure a lot of people were anticipating he's just going to pull the ball down and run after coming out of that rush from the Calgary D-line.
A nice catch by Loxley at the other end as well for the short yardage quarterback to make a play like that downfield. Ford hops up quickly after getting looked at, but he will come out of the game. Arbuckle warming up quickly on the sideline, and now he'll slide in under center. Here's that last play for Ford.
Yeah, designed quarterback run here. Taking it up on the inside. It looked like he was kind of favoring that right shoulder a little bit as he came off. Maybe that last shot in the back jarred something.
Arbuckle in, 3 to his left, 3 to his right. And he's got a completion to Walker, and it'll be just short, about a yard shy of a first down. Arbuckle, 795 yards, couple of touchdowns, 6 interceptions in his starts with the club.
But it's funny to see as Arbuckle signals as he comes off the field. It's not a short yardage quarterback coming on, but Arbuckle signaling to the slot back, Loxley, you're under center for this one. Ty Loxley, of course, the number 3 quarterback, former college quarterback at UTEP. He is also the short yardage QB for the Elks.
He will slide in here and try to push ahead, and he's got more than enough for a first down. So now he'll slide back out to the slot, and Arbuckle comes back into the game. And you see Ford grimacing there in pain with his throwing shoulder.
Unfortunate twist for Edmonton's young quarterback. We'll keep an eye on that situation, certainly. But in the meantime, fortunate to have the veteran Nick Arbuckle. Started the first few games of the season, ready to jump back into this lineup.
First and 10 on the Calgary 33. Out to Arsenault, he's hammered, ball bounces up and falls incomplete. That was there for the taking. And fortunately for the Elks, nobody on the Stampeders defense was able to come up with it.
Yeah, a play perfectly read by the Stampeder defense. Jonathan Moxey coming from his corner spot to arrive simultaneously with the football. You see the helmet pop up on Manny Arsenault. But Steph Banks just unable to come down with that interception. It was off his fingertips.
Second and 10 now for Arbuckle. Dumps it off to his running back. And they'll take it up to about the Calgary 30, and that'll bring up third down after the catch by Sherman Batty.
The Stampeder corners, Moxey and Roberson, demonstrating some physical play here on this Edmonton drive.
Sergio Castillo, 2 of 3 in the win last week, 11 of 13 on the season. This one from just outside the 35 on the left hash, and Castillo knocks it through to tie this game at 3. The Battle of Alberta, a physical one here in the early going on a Thursday night. Moxey hammering Manny Arsenault, and Batty nowhere to go on that play either.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by 7-Eleven, where you get fast 24/7 delivery on game day, including Slurpee drinks.
Nothing like a delicious Slurpee in the middle of the summer. Eh?
Well, I know you were raving about the pizza sub.
I didn't know if I should bring it up, but well, it's my favorite sub sandwich of all time, the pizza sub at 7-Eleven. Here's Bo Levi Mitchell, 2 of 5 for 18 yards. He'll hand it off to Carey, breaks 1 tackle, and the ball pops loose in Edmonton. Did they hop on it? They do. Scott Hutter, who forced a fumble in the victory last week, scoops this one up.
We'll take a look to see exactly where this ball comes free. Kadeem Carey spinning. And looks like it's out just before his knee touches down. Great reaction there by Scott Hutter, as you said, to add a fumble recovery to his forced fumble from last weekend.
Credit to Jalen Collins, who I think originally started to attempt to punch that out.
Well, returning the favor. Last week it was Hutter with the force, Collins with the recovery. This time reversing roles. Scott Hutter out of Wilfrid Laurier University.
That's another one. Arbuckle bat out on the field, working from the Calgary 51. They'll hand it off. Batty right up the middle, and he's got a first down inside the 40 against this Calgary defense.
Yeah, I saw some flashes from Sherman Beatty in that backfield against Hamilton. As we take a look at the Calgary defense, at leader of that D-line, Mike Rose at the D-tackle spot. We'll keep an eye on the matchup, particularly between he and Mark Cordy tonight. Cameron Judge having a nice bounce-back season after an injury-riddled 21 season in Toronto. That will spot for Calgary. And Trey Roberson back into the lineup after missing time due to injury.
12-yard pickup. Arbuckle looking for Litre, but it falls incomplete. Talked to Ford a little bit about Arbuckle and having him around. He said, you know, it's a good veteran presence to help him as he prepared for this week, and a veteran who probably isn't overwhelmed by being thrown into this situation.
Yeah, I mean, this, for a guy who has been a starter, been a backup, Nick Arbuckle certainly has the mindset to go in whenever needed. As you see that shot in the back of the right shoulder that Ford takes there from Brad Muhammad.
Arbuckle with some time, and now it's going to be thrown away as pressure finally got through. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Arbuckle protecting the field position, avoiding the sack on that one as he ends up with the Stampeder defender right in his face.
And there is a flag here at the end of the play. As Arbuckle threw this away with the pressure in his face.
Yeah. Weak side linebacker Cameron Judge, the man who popped free there.
Intentional grounding, Edmonton, number 9. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, 3rd down.
So much for protecting the field position as that one sailed out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage.
And that will back them up. Chris Jones not happy, a loss of 11 when it's all said and done. And it'll be 3rd and 21 here for Edmonton. Mangle will come out now to kick this away. Mangle stands on his own 46. Malik Henry waiting for the kick. Henry slides underneath it at his own 14, quickly up the sideline and out of bounds on the return. CFL on TSN keeps rolling tomorrow with Friday Night Football. Don't miss Jamal Morrow and the Rough Riders as they host William Powell and the Red Blacks under the lights in Saskatchewan. Tune in at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on TSN. Calgary's going to start on their own 28 here. Mitchell's 2 of 5 for 18 yards. Kadeem Carey, 2 carries for 21, but had a turnover as well that gave Edmonton a chance to take the lead, chance they were not able to take advantage of. Mitchell now has a man wide open, and that's Henry using his speed up the near sideline and takes it outside the Calgary 50. And his nice season continues.
Yeah, crossing route concept underneath for Calgary here. You'll see Malik Henry, he starts off on the right side of the formation. He's going to come across the field to the left. See Kamar Jordan heading the other way. Creating just a little bit of traffic there. Nice pickup there, Mr. Henry.
The Feast Lion down on the field getting looked at. Came in last year and really made an impact in 5 games. Basically won a job this year with what he was able to do last year. In the 5 games, he had 27 tackles and 2 interceptions in 5 games at the tail end of last year. That was a season where everybody's like, wow, there's really nothing to prove here for Edmonton anymore. But for a guy like him, I mean, got himself a career here in Edmonton.
Well, that's it. You have limited opportunity to make an impression, and Nafis Lyon certainly made the most of that on a team looking for some bright spots, particularly as last season wound down.
He will come out of the game as the ball sits on the Calgary 52. 61 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Lyon on the year, 13 tackles. Had a sack and a knockdown as well. Become a pretty reliable piece of this defense for Chris Jones in the early going. 1st and 10 for Mitchell. Flea flicker back to Bo Levi. He's going to look down the field, and it will fall incomplete just inside the 20. A plea for a flag does not look like it'll be answered as Treston Decoux in coverage against Henry.
Yeah, and the shuffle that you get in the Elks secondary on this when they're going after basically the replacement for Lyon on the corner, but it's Treston Decoux, second-year man who came over from Toronto after cut downs. He moved from halfback out to corner in this situation, played it perfectly, stayed right with his man the whole way. The Stampeders, of course, looking for a call on the play.
And they're going to ask for another look at it as well. Just when
Calgary
he went to cut in, I guess.
The previous play for pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
Well, this would be a big chunk. A big call early in this game. 3rd challenge of the year for Dickinson. Has not won one just yet. Let's get another look at this one.
Yeah, keep an eye on the tail end. Originally, it looked like Decoux had pretty good position, but yeah, you see a little bit of contact there as Henry tries to cut back into the football, particularly hand up high.
Looked like he had the left arm underneath Henry's right arm as well.
Yeah, I mean, here you see the contact, and he's slowing him down a little bit there. Impeding his route back to the inside.
I think a good decision here from Dickinson. There's a couple of cases to be made, I think, when you get to look at that.
I mean, honestly, I often feel for defenders in the Canadian Football League and in this situation. But I suspect that this one's going to go against Edmonton.
Decoux coming over, having a nice start to the year with Edmonton. 14 tackles, a tackle for a loss in there as well. Had 4 tackles last week in that victory against Hamilton. Played 13 games with Toronto last season and forced into duty here where Nafis Lyon usually would have been.
Yeah, looking at that again, I think when you look at the degree of contact, that hand up high, the right hand coming up high.
Onto the mask.
I think that, as I said, I think Coach Dickinson might have his first victorious challenge of the season.
They are certainly taking a while to look at this one, and rightfully so, as you see the 2 guys chatting about the play that is under review. And Henry's speed is obviously a weapon that this Calgary offense certainly wants to take advantage of on a regular basis. Let's get the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. We have pass interference, Edmonton, number 37. First down at the spot of the foul.
So another big gain on a Malik Henry target, 33 yards. The pickup there was a result of the penalty call.
Calgary will find themselves in business again. They had it down at the 22 earlier and took a couple of shots to the end zone, and they came up empty. Now they work from the Edmonton 25, 1st and 10. They'll hand it off to Carey, and he is wrapped up just beyond the line of scrimmage. $165 yards on the season coming into this game for Kadeem Carey. He's got 22 so far here tonight.
Yeah, Carey continues to establish his place as one of the Canadian Football League's top running backs. Now it's linebacker Brady Sheldon, the injured Elk.
29-year-old getting a look at here. Obviously, lower body.
Sheldon, another one, along with Jalen Collins, Tristan Deku, guys with whom Chris Jones would have some familiarity from his time with the Toronto Argonauts last season.
Bo Levi Mitchell looking for a better start. And they've been trailing at halftime in their first 3 games. And here's a look at what Bo has done so far this year. All 3 victories, which is the most important thing, but a couple of really nice games here in week 2 and 3.
Yeah, and you look at those numbers and you wonder sometimes, as you said, with the slow starts for Calgary, trailing at halftime in each of their first 3 games this season, that they might feel a little better if they maybe weren't throwing the ball as much in the second half out of necessity. They might give up some of those yards in exchange for a better opening 30 minutes.
He's facing a Chris Jones defense here tonight, and here's what he had to say about playing against Chris Jones earlier this week.
I've played him so many times. It's new every time. You know, it's always a surprise. There's always somebody in a position you don't think they're going to be in. You know, you always think you know how he's going to play you, and he knows that as well. So there's always that reverse Jedi mind trick of, you know, you think you know me, but I think I know you. He's going to force you to put the ball in a different spot and beat him in a different way. And, you know, I mean, if I was a defense coordinator, I'd probably do the same thing. So, you know, it's something that I respect a lot.
I'm fully supporting more Star Wars references in player clips moving forward this season. But it really is kind of a guessing game between 2 guys when you see each other so often, right?
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, even more so now with Chris Jones returning to Edmonton. And, you know, these 2 teams definitely seeing a lot of each other as, you know, we talked a little bit about the Edmonton-Calgary rivalry. Bo suggests that, you know, in his perfect world, you don't see each other till Labor Day and then have things heat up down the stretch. But they get a couple of their meetings out of the way early on here in 2022.
Jones 5-10 in his career against the Stampeders. 2nd and 9 for Bo Levi Mitchell. 3 receivers to his left. Gary stands in immediately to his right, and before they can get this play going, multiple flags on the field as we near the end of the first quarter.
Procedure, Calgary, number 67. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
I'll back him up to 2nd and 14. Mitchell's just 3 of 6 here in the first quarter for 42 yards. Henry with a catch, Kadeem Carey out of the backfield with a catch, and Kamar Jordan with a catch as well. Would like to have at least 14 here. Mitchell has a completion down at the 10. It'll be enough for a first down, and this offense will stay on the field as he finds, I believe, Jalen Philpott.
Yeah, nice job there from Bo to thread the needle. It flies past the outstretched hands of a couple of linebackers to get there.
We've got a tight one on Thursday Night Football here at Commonwealth in Edmonton. Deadlocked at 3 after the opening quarter. Well, we are tied at 3 after 1, and when you look at these first quarter stats, it's about as evenly as you can play a football game, from time of possession to passing yards, rushing yards. Pretty evenly played game here so far. Yeah,
2 teams feeling themselves out a little bit, I suppose. Of course, Calgary starting to press a little bit on the current possession, but, you know, I think the clip from Bo Levi Mitchell probably summed it up as he talked about Chris Jones and playing against each other, the level of familiarity, not just between sort of quarterback and defensive coordinator, but I also think when you look bigger picture at Dave Dickinson versus Chris Jones, that these are guys with a lot of history and a lot of familiarity, so always something of a chess match between these 2 veteran coaches.
If you are just joining us, Trey Ford started this game and left it, went to the room with an injury. Arbuckle has since taken over. Mitchell First and 10 on the Edmonton 13. Has a ton of time. Look at this. Now they're going to finally get to him and take him down. Heavily thrown down. Matthew Thomas gets home for his first sack.
Well, chalk this one up to the coverage. As you said, all sorts of time for Bo Levi Mitchell in the pocket. But you just can't hold on forever. You're going to see Matthew Thomas off the edge from his defensive end spot. And you saw, I mean, he came upfield, started to back off, had enough time to redirect again and still get to the quarterback.
A loss of 12, second and 22. 3 receivers to the right for Mitchell. Pressured again, and when they get there, they do. Back-to-back sacks for the Edmonton defense. Was that Thomas leading the way again?
Getting them in bunches. Once again in that stand-up position at defensive end. And this is just that situation of a disciplined rush from Edmonton, guys staying in their lanes, retracing their steps when they start to work back and rushing as a unit.
Paredes, and he misses it. Streak is over at 30. Nelson will bring this out of the end zone and pushed out of bounds. Paredes had hit 30 in a row in the regular season, and this one squeaks just wide right, and the game remains deadlocked at 3 at Commonwealth. Trey Ford starting this game for Edmonton and will not be finishing it. He's now been ruled out for the rest of the game after this hit right there to his right shoulder from Mohammed.
Yeah, heavy pop there. Ford on a called run, immediately favoring that right shoulder.
Well, they always talk about with quarterbacks who like to run the ball, there's that increased chance of injury, and second start here, that's a tough one for him to deal with. Arbuckle in the game. Near side, and that one incomplete as he was looking for Osakusi, and he would have had to have been about 7 feet tall to get his hands on that one.
Well, maybe if he was another former Elk and Queens product, Matt O'Donnell, he might have been able to reach that.
Nice O'Donnell shout out.
But well, you know, make the point here, Trey Ford was one of 8 Canadians starting for Edmonton, so they are able to replace him with an American at quarterback without having to shuffle the rest of their roster to meet the ratio. He could count as one of 7 Canadian starters, but they started 8.
Second and 10 for Arbuckle, and maybe back to the line of scrimmage, not even, as he swung it out there for Litre, and it was completed but short, and that will bring up third down for Edmonton, who having trouble getting their offense in gear here tonight.
Certainly a tough field position situation right here for the Elks, getting backed up in their own end.
Arbuckle 3 of 6 since coming into this game. Those 3 completions going for just 6 yards. Mangle stands about midway into his end zone. There's a flag as he will run this ball back and out of bounds. Tight game like this, field position obviously going to make a
procedure,
huge difference.
Edmonton, the penalties declined, safety.
The ultimate race around the country is back. Get into an all-new The Amazing Race Canada Tuesday at 9/8 Central, only on CTV. Set your PVR. Great time for a race across the country, I think.
The race will be slowed down by flight delays, but Just saying.
Extended season. 5-3. Calgary on top.
Yeah, and I want to make the point as well, going back to the missed Paredes field goal, when Charles Nelson made the decision to run it out, it didn't look like there was a lot there. I know every returner kind of thinks they can take it all the way every time, but the result of that decision is essentially you trade 2 points instead of 1, right? Giving up that safety when you could have given up a single and had a little better field position on the trade-off.
A very rare miss from that man after hitting 30 in a row. He's done it a few times in his career. Now Castile, kick it the other way. Philpott takes it at his 20, back to the 30. Philpott far side of the field, 40, 45, 50, and another nice return after a 60-yard scamper to open this football game. Philpott does it again.
Well, Jalen Philpott demonstrating that he wants to stay in this lineup. A couple of nice blocks there, but just demonstrating that burst. Get around the corner, get the Stamps again out around midfield to start the possession.
37-yard return for Philpott. Just 21 years old, already showing some flash of brilliance here in the Canadian Football League. From the Edmonton 54, they'll hand it off, and a huge hole here for Kadeem Carey. Carey will take it inside the 30 before he is stopped. A free run there for Kadeem Carey.
Well, watch Bo Levi Mitchell sort of follow through with the pass fake here after the handoff, and it seems to hold some of the Edmonton defenders as nobody really seems to pursue Carey all that hard as he takes off around the left edge here. A lot of open space to that side. Nicely executed play from the Stamps, and obviously well blocked up front.
Calgary on the Edmonton 28. Back to Carey again. This time he picks his way ahead for a couple of yards and gets that down inside the Edmonton 25.
Terrific field position off that Jalen Philpott kickoff return. The Stamps find themselves down in that offensive green zone once again. Quick return.
Second and 6. Empty backfield for Mitchell. Far side, he's got a completion, and that should be enough for a first down to Kamar Jordan. Third catch of the game for Jordan. 8-yard pickup.
See Jordan, the number 2 receiver here, working out of the slot to the boundary. Lead on that defender. Push off to create separation towards the sideline.
Fresh set of downs inside the Edmonton 20. Get it back to Carey. This time he's forced to the outside and can't really get away and open up. And there's an injured Elk down on the field, calling for help with his right arm while his left arm lays motionless. Christian Rector, I believe.
D-lineman Rector, you see him pursuing from behind. Looked like that left arm kind of got caught between his teammate and the ball carrier. Kadeem Carey here as they went down to the turf. Watch him reach with the left arm here. His teammate kind of crunched him.
As they take a look at Christian Rector, we will take a break here at Commonwealth. Christian Rector up and off the field, second-year man out of USC, with his left arm being held by the training staff.
Yeah, you see Jeremy Dominique comes in here to make the tackle on Carey, and Rector's arm gets pinched in between. You can see that left elbow looking kind of awkward on the landing.
Calgary with a 5-3 lead, working on the Edmonton 17. 3 options to the left, 3 to the right for Bo Levi Mitchell. He'll take it underneath And it'll be at the 10, but no further as he finds Malik Henry for 7 yards.
Mitchell continues to spread the ball around, particularly to what seems to be emerging as a big three for Calgary, with Malik Henry stepping up, hoping to find some consistency in the young receiver as he partners in that receiving core with Kamar Jordan and Reggie Begelton.
Thomas and Konar in on the tackle. Paredes out here to start a new streak after having a streak of 30 consecutive snaps. Some redemption here from 17, and no doubt about that one, he knocks it through, and Calgary extends their lead to 5 on a Thursday night in Edmonton. Mike Rose on that Calgary defense. He got his first interception of his career. Does not have a sack yet this year. For more on his role in this defense, let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, certainly, Dustin, there's a number of different players on this defense that can be the playmakers out there. Mike Rose describing himself, saying when he's out there, he just has to be a bear out there. He's running around trying to obviously contain the quarterback. He says, I don't really have a job. I'm kind of like the Draymond Green of the CFL. Well, Draymond's got a few championships to his name right now, but there's a few comments that you could make about that. But Mike Rose certainly looking to make his presence felt in this game tonight against the Elks.
Huge piece of this defense. I would say more important to this defense than Draymond setting screens for Steph, but he's obviously a big piece, and he's developed nicely here.
Well, you know, Draymond's not a bad defender himself, right? And that kind of frees up Steph and Clay and the rest of the boys. Andrew Wiggins, we need our Canadian content, of course, put some points up.
12 career sacks for Rose. Great guy to chat with.
Yes, sir.
And he talks about being a pass rusher from the interior, as Beatty loses a couple here on that carry. That'll bring up 3rd down, and the Elks offense stuck in neutral.
And what a find Titus Wall has been on this Calgary defense, stepping in at that nickel linebacker spot. Very productive start to the season. Here we'll take a look at the work of one Mike Rose. Battling away on the inside, holding his ground.
Mangle lets this fly from his own 36, a towering kick that will eventually come down to Logan with flags on the field. He will take it cleanly. Don't go anywhere coming up at the half. Kate and the panel locked and loaded to dive into the Battle of Alberta here on a Thursday night.
Always anxious to hear what the panel has to say.
Way smarter than us. All right, you guys go call the game. We'll break it
Calgary,
down.
number 1. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So this will back Calgary up. Their worst starting field position of this football game. What do you thought of Bo so far? He's 6 of 9 for 74 yards.
Yeah, they've definitely shown some flashes here. Keep an eye right at the point of attack there. Eli Buka charged with the hold.
Calgary starts on their own 8. Mitchell forced out of the pocket, dumped it off in the direction of Kadeem Carey, but Konar or Carey, neither of them really had a chance at that one.
We're seeing Kadeem Carey with a few opportunities to get involved as a receiver here. Adam Konar doing a nice job in coverage. 2nd generation CFLer, of course, his dad, Kevin, linebacker with the BC Lions. Adam talked to us this week about growing up big Lions fan. He seemed to like a lot of the guys on offense, though, and, you know, maybe part of that was sucking up, given that one of his bosses here is G. Roy Simon.
Legs here. Chatted with Konar earlier in the week, and he said he really enjoys being back in Edmonton playing football, and, you know, a bigger role here back in Edmonton than he had in BC.
Yeah, definitely that.
Time count violation. Calgary, number 19. Half the distance to the goal, remains 2nd down.
You know, and a player who sort of felt in his first go-round in Edmonton that he and head coach Chris Jones were a pretty good fit, and with Jones coming back here, and they reached out to Adam during free agency, he was excited to make that reunion happen. Seen him start at middle linebacker this season, now shifting back out to the more familiar weak side.
Got it away just in time to Carey, who takes it inside the 10, drops his shoulder and pushes his way out. Almost to the 20. Just shy, I believe, of what they needed for a first down. Almost got it.
Yeah, Kadeem Carey doesn't necessarily look like the biggest guy, but you'll see right here, he packs a little bit of power. There's Jeremy Dominique, the rookie out of Charleston. On the receiving end of that one.
3rd and inches. And the offense inside their own 20 will stay on the field. Tommy Stevens in to take care of the job here. Going to take it to the outside, and initially had some contact behind that line, but he pushes ahead for the first down.
And going back a couple of weeks, Dave Dickinson talked about offensively and defensively the importance of his short yardage units and the success that they had in the Hamilton game. Comeback victory there, short yardage on both sides, making some big plays in that one. And you see just the growing confidence as Tommy Stevens is doing a nice job running that unit for the Stampeders, the number 3 quarterback.
Just under 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. Mitchell, far side, and he's got a completion to Malik Henry. Henry's got the Jets on. He's going to take it inside the 20. 10, touchdown. 89 yards for the Calgary Stampeders. And a backflip for good measure from Malik Henry, his 3rd touchdown of the year.
A big one, and the breakout season of Malik Henry continues, and he continues to haunt the Edmonton Elks. Little comebacker along the sidelines. Ball's thrown behind. He caught the defender. Collins with his back turned, unable to locate the ball. Henry goes and gets it, takes it the rest of the way.
They are going to go for 2. Right now the lead at 11. We'll look to push it to 13. Henry with 121 yards now in this game, coming off a career high 173 2 weeks ago. Mitchell wide open, dropped, wrong way, couldn't haul it in, should have been there for 2.
Yeah, I think there was a moment of indecision when this ball was in the air for William Longley about whether to go thumbs together up high or pinkies together down low, and he ended up getting handcuffed. Lines up as a tight end on the right side, running to the corner. There you see hands high, and it looked like he kind of tried to adjust mid-flight here.
Had a couple of cracks at it.
You know, William Longley, a guy who was Mr. Everything in college at Sherbrooke, played a little D-line, played a little linebacker before moving to fullback. Maybe he had a flashback to those defensive days and just decided to knock it down.
Malik Henry with a big one.
Yeah, they've got Henry working in a little bit of space. One-on-one against Collins to watch, ball's thrown behind. Perfectly placed. Collins with his back turned, really doesn't even see the ball come in. Henry snatches it and takes off down the sideline.
Looked like he was surprised when that ball arrived, Collins.
Yeah.
Now on the return for Edmonton. Nelson will take it out just beyond his own 35, and Edmonton look to respond after this.
Yeah, here you see the ball in the air. Watch, Collins' back is turned the whole way. Now he's scrambling to try and get back to it after he had been pedal to the metal trying to catch up to Malik Henry streaking down the sidelines. You see he's just a split second behind. Either way as Mitchell tosses it in there.
Henry, of course, heavily involved in the special teams last year and more elevated role with the club this year, as Arbuckle will get it to Kenny Lawler. And for Lawler, late here in the first half, that's his first catch of the football game, a guy that you might want to get involved a little bit more if you're looking for a response to Bo Levi Mitchell. 177 yards and a touchdown to that man, Malik Henry.
We're told that this is going to be the coolest shot on the CFL on TSN, and it is. Milt Siegel behind the glass. Do you like that smile, everyone? Because there is plenty more of it coming up at the half. If you don't like it, don't tune in.
All smiles and laughs coming up at halftime. Edmonton not laughing right now. They trail at home here by 11. And that looks like it might be enough for a first down as Darrell Walker takes a pass from Arbuckle. And any points that Edmonton can put on the board here before halftime would go a long way.
Yeah, they certainly would build a little momentum back as they've been backed up in their own end, it seems, especially here in the second quarter. They've just never really caught up in terms of that field position battle.
Arbuckle on his own 47. They'll hand it off, but nowhere to go. Calgary's defense having none of it. And now some flags and some pushing and shoving at the 45. And at least one flag has been thrown.
This is the Battle of Alberta. Got to be a little animosity, doesn't it?
Why did it take so long?
Well, they're used to not heating it up till Labor Day. That's why. Doesn't have the same feeling in week 5 that it has to kind of kick off the second half of the season.
Looks like David Beard kind of came in and cleared some guys out. And
We have
Loxley
two
and Mohammed.
misconduct fouls on the play. Calgary, number 56, and Edmonton, number 57. Those penalties offset, first down.
So it's Beard and Thurman.
Correction, second down.
And it will be a second down with 2:29 on the clock here in the second quarter. Arbuckle 5 of 8 for 18 yards since coming into the game for an injured Trey Ford. He will not return tonight. Arbuckle has a man wide open. It's Loxley again, and he's got a first down. That's a couple of big catches for Loxley. He had 46 on his first catch. That came on a pass from Ford. He gets 20 more here from Arbuckle.
Loxley is the middleman in that trips formation to the wide side of the field. Nice route there, step to the corner, work back to the football. I'm sure quarterback like Nick Arbuckle has an appreciation for a receiver who's played the position, probably still sees the game through the quarterback's eyes, able to get on the same page.
Now they'll dump it out to Walker. Gets a couple of yards on that first down screen. And it'll be second down situation here for Arbuckle with the clock now inside 2 minutes.
Approaching the half, Calgary with that 14-3 lead. Again, the Stampeders have trailed at the half in all 3 of their games thus far this season, so better start for them.
In all 3 of their games, they've actually trailed by at least 10 points. Here, Arbuckle down the field, and that'll be intercepted inside the 10. Tremaine Washington puts this drive to sleep. Arbuckle looking for a big chunk, and Washington steps in with his first interception of the season.
Yeah, among the league leaders in interceptions last season with Edmonton. Washington had signed in Ottawa as a free agent. Was let go there, quickly picked up by the Stampeders, adding a little bit more experience for them on the back end. Former Toronto Argonaut as well, but here you see, I mean, this ball little underthrown and into a real tight window. Intended for Kenny Lawler. Washington able to cut underneath to come up with the INT.
7th interception of the season thrown by Nick Arbuckle. Calgary starts on their 9. Kadeem Carey cuts it back up the field, takes it towards the 15, won't get all the way there, but a decent pickup on first down with just under 90 seconds on the clock to work for this Calgary offense.
Deep in their own end here. So at least puts Calgary in a manageable second and medium type situation. Matthew Thomas, defensive end, with a couple of sacks in this ball game.
He's got 6 tackles to go along with those 2 sacks. And now he is down on the field. Ooh, that's legit. You see that belt?
The beauty of that belt is its versatility. You can wear it anywhere.
It's massive.
You always wonder, you know, who are the people who order these sorts of things? Make the purchase.
But if you want a belt, I can get you one of those belts.
Yeah.
It's got to be fun at the beginning of the year coming up with what the cool thing's going to be on the sideline, right?
You know, the dog chains, the hammer, the
funny hats.
hard hat, yeah.
Washington's got the belt right now. Bo Levi Mitchell has the ball. 2nd and 5. Goes right back to Longley. This time he's able to haul it in, and he'll take it outside the 20, which is a first down.
Well, I'm happy to see my fullback brethren have an opportunity for redemption here. William Longley, after the drop in the end zone, he's going to have a check release here. Little chip off the defensive end. Nice adjustment to the ball in the air to pick up the first down.
45 seconds on the clock. Akunavanu's got his first touch of the game. Hauls it in for about half of what they need on first down with 40 seconds to work.
Akunavanu, Edmonton native, playing for the Stampeders. Has a little bit of a following here tonight.
2nd and 3. They'll dump it off to Henry again. He's got a first down, taken down, but still is able to land outside his own 35. 4th catch of the game for Malik Henry.
You see that Elks defense trying to pursue from inside. Jeremy Dominique appeared to get trapped inside on the ball fake.
Mitchell over the middle. He's got a completion down towards the 50. That puts Bo Levi over 200 yards passing as he goes back to Henry again. And Henry is following up his huge game in week 3 against Edmonton, one with a monstrous opening half.
And this one, they're going to send out the field goal unit here. What would be about 57, 3 seconds remaining in the half.
Henry's at 152 yards and a touchdown.
And they're going to punt it.
They will just kick this away. Red is long on the year, 46. Cody Grace will come out and try to kick this away. Nelson waiting for it. Ed Gainey back there as well. Gainey takes this just inside his own end zone, will scamper out.
Mission accomplished.
And that is going to do it. In the opening half here at Commonwealth, it is the visitors. Calgary leading at half for the first time this season. They're up 14-3 on their provincial rival. It's another early season installment of the Battle of Alberta. Trying to get away, and he does. Ford now opening up some room. Deep shot, and it's going to work at the 45. Are you kidding me? Kai Loxley out to Arsenault. He's hammered. Ball bounces up and falls incomplete. That was there for the taking. Henry's got the Jets on. He's going to take it inside the 20. 10, touchdown. One half in the book, second half about to get going, and it is Edmonton trailing 14-3. Matthew Thomas has been involved in their defense so far. He's with our Sarah Orleski.
Matthew, when you look at that first half, what is it that stood out to you most?
Just a couple plays that we wasn't able to make. We gave up some scores, and we got off the field a couple of times, but we got to play better in the second half.
What is the key to getting that pressure? You did get to Bo and were able to sack him a couple of times. What is the key to getting pressure? We got to keep playing together. We got to tackle, and we got to wrap up, get them off the field. We can't give them opportunities to keep getting first downs. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Nice first half, 6 tackles, a couple of sacks, and Trey Ford watching on, had made a big pass down the field to Loxley. They went to run the ball right after and got popped in the shoulder and will not be returning. So tough pill to swallow for the young quarterback, but another opportunity for Nick Arbuckle to show that he can handle this job. He was 7 of 11, I should say, for 34 yards and an interception trying to take a shot downfield to Kenny Lawler. Lawler might be a guy you want to get going here. He only has 1 catch for 4 yards in the first half.
Yeah, and Calgary did a pretty good job, I thought, on Kenny Lawler in the first meeting of the season between these two teams.
Nelson on the return, taken down just outside his own 30.
Big tackle there from Silas Stewart on special teams. But as you said, for Nick Arbuckle, you never want to see a teammate suffer an injury or go through any kind of misfortune, but for him this is, an opportunity to make this starting job his own, at least for the time being.
Lawler at 285 yards receiving coming into this game. As I mentioned, just 4 in the first half. They'll hand it off. Beatty will take it outside the 35. A flag right at the tail end of this play here early in the second half.
Unnecessary roughness, Calgary, number 32. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Titus Wall came in like a heat-seeking missile here, the nickel linebacker for Calgary. The second man in, you'll see helmet on helmet shot here as he comes in. Aiming kind of low.
It's been a nice find for the Stampeders this year. Got 1 interception, comes in double digits and tackles. Arbuckle with some time. He's going to swing it out near side. Beatty will take it out for a first down. To a round of applause from the crowd here that really hasn't had much to cheer about offensively for Edmonton so far tonight.
And Sherman Beatty, kind of a speed guy in that Elks backfield. Again, he's in the lineup with James Wilder, going down in practice last week. An upper body issue.
Second catch of his time here in Edmonton. Arbuckle going to look down the field again. Too much. Had Walker wide open in behind the defense, and he outgunned him. He knows he missed it.
Yeah, Adam just missed him. That strike down the middle, you see Darrell Walker working from the slot. Inside man to that wide side of the field. You see him head for the post here. Nobody goes with him. All alone as he ends up in behind the safety, Raheem Wilson.
I wonder if he's overcompensating after underthrowing Kenny Lawler in the first half, right?
Yep.
Walker hasn't had a touchdown since 2019. Would have had one there, but he was overthrown. Now he'll get it to Nelson, who has speed. Stumbles a bit as he tried to turn it upfield, but he's wrapped up just inside the Calgary 40. And that will bring up third down for Edmonton.
Well, an opportunity to at least open the half by putting some points on the board for the Elks, but they'll no doubt be lamenting a missed opportunity of their own. Remember, Calgary had a couple of them going in this direction in the first quarter.
Castillo from the right hash. 47-yard field goal attempt. This will tie his longest on the year, and this is wide right. That'll be taken by Peyton Logan. Logan, far side of the field. He's got some room to burn, and he's got the speed. Logan up to the 40, down to the 50. He might go untouched all the way. Logan to the 30, the 20, the 10. He's gone all the way to the house. Peyton Logan, after a missed field goal, with some fireworks for the Stampeders.
Well, Peyton Logan looking like Steph Logan in the return game. There, hitting the sideline and turning on the Jets. For a huge turnaround there. Edmonton looking to cut that deficit by 3 points. Instead, ends up giving up 6.
.122 yards on this return for Logan. And they never really even had a crack at him.
No, not even close.
Paredes. Extra point is good, and Calgary has opened this thing up a bit. They lead 21-3 after a missed field goal from Castillo. And Peyton Logan was never really in doubt. Once he got free on that far side, there was no looking back.
Shout out to Hardley, shout out to UT Mark, shout out to my mama, my daddy, my family, my girl, everybody. Hey, Kadeem the Dream, he the one that taught me how to do that shit.
So many shout-outs, and understandably so. First career touchdown for Peyton Logan, and it was a big one. I think Kadeem Carey said, upcoming star right here.
Hey, 122 yards earns you unlimited shout-outs.
Big kid, big kid.
This is taken by Charles Nelson. Nelson right up the middle, tried to stay on his feet, multiple flags as he works it back towards the 35.
And here's a look at the rare Canadian Football League 10-point play. Edmonton thinks they're kicking a field goal that's going to cut the Calgary lead to 8. Wide right, Logan on the return, and suddenly the Elks are down 18.
Just a huge swing when you look at it that way for a team that has struggled to put points on the board so far here tonight, to think, hey, we're still only down 8, and then miss the field goal and have it go back the other way.
Hey. Yes, sir.
Big time backfire.
Yeah, I mean, what would have been a 1-score game is a 3-score game.
Arbuckle gets it into the hands of Waller, but nothing really opened up for him on that play, and he's taken out of bounds. A little bit of a breeze here at Commonwealth tonight.
Well, skies are looking a little gray. They did have I believe it was a lightning delay during the pregame warm-ups. They sent the teams in for a bit, and they came back out. Didn't go in between the now later warm-up and kickoff, as they made an adjustment to keep the kickoff on time.
Arbuckle spins away from one Stampeder right into another, and Rayam ends up taking him down.
Well, TJ Ram.
First career sack.
Another second-generation CFLer. Ram, who played at Boston College, the son of former Edmonton and Calgary offensive lineman Thomas Ram. Born in Alberta during his dad's playing days, so he's got that dual citizenship. Plays as a national, was selected in the 2nd round of the supplemental draft this year.
Mangle lets it fly. Comes down to Logan again. And he is popped as he tries to turn it up to the 35. No return this time. Litre takes him down, but Calgary on top, on the road. Defense, offense, special teams, doing it all for the Stampeders. Welcome back, everyone, and things have cleared up here in Edmonton after a delay of about an hour and 7 minutes. We are ready to go. Bo Levi Mitchell will have the ball. Calgary ball on their own 36. If you are just joining us, torrential downpour here at Commonwealth, but they've cleaned up the field and it looks like we are ready to go. 10:23 remaining here in the third quarter. Be interesting to see if the delay has done anything for Edmonton and their offense. Just 3 points in the game so far. Find themselves trailing 21-3 at home to kick off Week 5 in the Canadian Football League.
And I know that they discussed early in the delay on the panel which team benefits most from the delay, and I think you'd have to say Edmonton, given the momentum that Calgary had, particularly on the heels of the Peyton Logan 122-yard missed field goal return.
Huge shout out to Kate and the panel for taking us through that hour-long delay, and Commissioner Ambrosi for popping by up here in the booth for a quick visit. Fans back in the seats, and we are ready to roll here. 1st and 10 on the 36 after a delay for Bo Levi Mitchell. 223 yards passing so far. They'll get this one to Begelton, and he is taken down. His first involvement in this game offensively for Calgary.
And our first look at that particular play in this game, the shovel pass to Reggie Begelton. And I wonder, just given the field conditions right now, obviously very wet, if there's sort of a desire to test the defense's ability to redirect laterally with that play, see if there might be something they could take advantage of there with the footing.
Ed Gainey on the tackle. 2nd and 8. And we've got whistles.
Timeout, Calgary.
And a timeout. I was going to say, I don't see a flag anywhere. And a timeout by the Calgary Stampeders. It's the longest delay you had in any of your games. I mean, it's got to be tough. Shutting her down and firing it back up.
I'm not sure we had a weather policy back then.
Played through anything. How many guys got struck by lightning?
Yeah, those were the days, I always say, when the player safety program was very clear. If you want to be safe, just don't play.
Easy way to lay that out for you. Mitchell, back-to-back 300-yard games coming into this one, and well on way to a 3rd consecutive 300-yard passing game. He's got a completion that will go for a first down as he goes back to Begelton here, and they move the ball towards midfield.
Yeah, just interesting sort of mid-game as you're going to see teams, obviously an additional quick chance to make adjustments to the halftime adjustments, but I think even beyond that, you know, you're talking about a game that started with, for Edmonton, a very different quarterback play, and now you're talking about different field position or conditions that you got to believe strategies have changed a lot.
It worked there for Kadeem Carey right up the middle for a first down. That'll put him up to 70 yards on the ground tonight on just 8 carries, moving the ball well.
Yeah, nice work by the O-line here. The pulling guard, Zach Williams, with the kick out. Kadeem Carey just turning it north-south, lowering his shoulder to finish that one.
Kamar Jordan getting in for the block there to open things up for his running back. Stands in to the left of Mitchell this time. They'll give it to him again. Carey right up the middle again. No first down this time, but a pickup of 7, and it's a nice chunk on the first down carry.
Yeah, the Stampeders offensive line has done a very nice job in the early portion of this season, both in terms of pass protection, as you mentioned early in the ball game. Bo Levi Mitchell hit through their first 3 games of the year, but in addition in the ground game.
2nd and 3. Back to Carey again, up the middle again, and he might be just shy of a first down, but obviously the plan is to come out here and run the ball with Kadeem Carey. Ed Gainey exchanging a few words with a couple of members of the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, that started with a little bit of a pushing match. Kamar Jordan, I believe, was blocking Ed Gainey on the play, and clearly something went on to which Gainey took exception. Led to a little bit of pushing and shoving and some jawing. But again, it's the Battle of Alberta. I don't think we'd expect anything less.
Carey just enough for the first down, so they'll give him a fresh set here on the Edmonton 37. Mitchell, pressure coming, dumps it off to Jordan, and he pushes ahead, cutting back inside and getting right back in the face of Gainey once again. 8 yards on the completion to Jordan.
Well, Kadeem Carey got some carries. Peyton Jordan comes in to spell him for a little bit. He gets to do the dirty work. Watch him picking up the linebacker, Adam Konar, off the edge here. Just steps in, delivers a pop, stones him up close to the line to help secure the pocket for his quarterback.
Stamps need a couple of yards here. They'll hand it off right up the middle, and that is Logan on the carry. Whether it's Kadeem Carey, Peyton Logan, who had a 122-yard missed field goal return touchdown before the delay. He gets involved in the offense here.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to watch Peyton Logan a couple of times in, extended duty on offense this season, and that is a terrific 1-2 punch the Stampeders have put together in that backfield with him backing up Kadeem Carey. Not the biggest guy, but strong, solid on his feet, good hard runner.
Just 5'8", 189. He's got the ball again, and he stays on his feet. Far side of the field, and he's in. Touchdown! Peyton Logan, his second of the game. This time, it's a 21-yard attack on the ground.
But Peyton Logan's big day continues already with a special teams touchdown. Now chipping in with one here on offense. You heard Kadeem Carey on the sidelines earlier refer to him as a rising star, and Logan providing more evidence in support of that claim right here.
Bonus points on the celebration as well. And the extra point is knocked home as Calgary has completely blown this thing open here in the Battle of Alberta. 21 yards for Peyton Logan to finish off an 8-play, 74-yard drive that took over an hour. Second trip to the end zone today for Peyton Logan, this time a running touchdown. And you said he's not a big guy, but look at the speed that he's got.
Yeah, and very strong on his feet, great balance. You can see kind of a low center of gravity, wide-shouldered guy. Good hard runner, not that he needed to go through anybody on that one. Well blocked up.
The return up towards the 30 by Charles Nelson, and Edmonton trying to get some sort of offense going in this game. They trail 28-3, and it looks like Kyle Loxley is going to start at quarterback here after the delay. Ford started the game injured, will not return. Arbuckle came in and was 10 of 15 for 57 yards and an interception. Kyle Loxley, who leads the team in receiving yards tonight, is now in at quarterback. And he's going to keep it here and take off. Look at that stride. He's got a first down, stays on his feet, and takes it all the way outside the 45.
Kyle Loxley, big dude, 6'4", 210 pounds. You saw he packed a little bit of a wallop himself going into that big collision. Again, you talk about changing strategies, changing game plans as this game goes on. Probably a little bit different package. You see Nick Arbuckle supporting his teammate there, but little Different package of plays, presumably, for Kai Loxley than for Nick Arbuckle.
They'll hand it off this time, and a good push ahead. Did the ball pop out? And does Calgary have it? Judge comes up with it, and a turnover caused by the Stampeders defense. Calgary is going to get the ball back. Here's another look at it. Nelson has it pop out, scooped up by the visitors.
You the wire guy? Woo! 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 You do not want me to score. Patrick Levels on a slant. That's a handoff.
Don't miss next week's CFL Wired episode, bringing you exclusive access to the latest CFL highlights. Catch it Wednesday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on TSN. Well, Calgary gets the ball back here. Their last 3 possessions have led to 2 touchdowns and a field goal, so they've been moving the ball extremely well. We talked about it. Their 3 wins have been come-from-behind victories so far this year, but they've been in control of this game for most of it.
Yeah, definitely looking to change the trend in a big way with their performance so far tonight. So we take a look. Charles Nelson, the ball carrier. Big collision there. Cameron Judge, the beneficiary. Stamps have the ball at midfield.
Just the second carry of the year for Nelson. Now here's Kadeem Carey, and look at him go. The running back duo of Kadeem Carey and Peyton Logan doing some serious damage to this Elks defense.
And there doesn't seem to be a lot of doubt about Calgary's game plan coming out after the weather delay. Absolutely pounding the football and having great success doing so.
That's a first down right there.
Yeah. With style.
99 yards tonight. Season high was 91 coming into this game. Well, Levi Mitchell with an easy toss to the far side of the field, drops it into the hands of Kamar Jordan for the 5th time tonight.
Yeah, they give a run look here and just go with the quick hitter, short pass. Basically as good as a handoff. Second and short, second and medium type situation here for the Stampeder offense.
Carey moves over to the right side of his quarterback. 2nd and 3. Mitchell, he's going to look towards the end zone. Touchdown! Drops it over the shoulder and into the hands of Luther Hakunavanu. And the route is on at Commonwealth.
Luther's taken over Souvenirs, we mentioned. An Edmonton guy having the opportunity to play here at Commonwealth. We've mentioned a few times, this is a guy part of the next wave of Canadian receivers in this league, a real up-and-comer for the Calgary Stampeders.
Extra point hammered through, 35-3. Second touchdown of the year for 81. And you said, I mean, just another weapon in this Calgary offense.
I mean, we talk a lot about the American receivers in Calgary. But you look over the years, they've done a terrific job of drafting and developing Canadian receivers, obviously losing some of those guys along the way through free agency, but continuing to do an outstanding job of scouting and developing the replacements, Luther Hakunavanu being the next one.
Bo Levi Mitchell feeling pretty good. 279 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Touchdown ball. Souvenir into the stands.
Oh, big dog. Oh, big dog. Hey, Lou. Hey, Lou, get you some.
Now on the return, nowhere to go this time around. Still staying on the feet, pushing ahead. That was Raphael Leonard getting his first touch in the Canadian Football League.
There you see the numbers for Kai Locksley during his last couple of college seasons at UTEP, Texas El Paso. Not necessarily a reputation as a great passer, but as an athletic quarterback, and we see that it's obviously shown in the way he plays receiver. But you know, we anticipated in terms of some of the play calls we have seen and are going to see with him under center.
Starts on his own 37. He'll hand it off. There's a flag on the play as Litre takes this out towards the 40. If you're looking at maybe
holding Edmonton, number 62, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
If you're building an offense around Trey Ford coming into the game tonight, Locksley's skill set from a mobile quarterback perspective might fit that a little bit more than what we saw from Arbuckle.
Yeah, and you got to think that that's factored into the decision a little bit here. You know, I mean, Nick Arbuckle throwing for a high completion percentage, 10 of 15, but you know, less than 60 yards through the air. And we talked about missed opportunity. I know the panel talked about it during the break as well, right? Just before the missed field goal, a wide open Darrell Walker heading to the end zone was overthrown.
Locksley completes his first pass, gets it to Darrell Walker, who you just mentioned, with about a minute remaining here in the third quarter after a lengthy rain delay at Commonwealth tonight. Locksley, of course, has been handling the short yardage duties for Edmonton so far. 3 rushing touchdowns this season. Pressured now, forced out of the pocket, rolling to his left, and he will eventually just be forced out of bounds. Took a couple of looks downfield, but had nothing, and was forced out for a sack.
I mean, one of the other interesting things about the move to bring Locksley in at quarterback is, of course, it causes another change to your offense. So you have that desire to change your quarterback also requires you to change one of your receiver spots. So you start moving down the depth chart a little bit. It is Raphael Leonard who comes in Locksley's spot as a receiver.
Mengel with the kick, grabbed by Logan, and a few pretty hard yards earned on that return to get the ball on to Edmonton's side of the field. Wimbledon coverage continues tomorrow with the gentlemen's semifinals as Novak Djokovic defends his Grand Slam title. It all gets underway at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific, only on TSN. Ladies and gentlemen, the moon. And we see Jake Mayer. I think every quarterback eligible to play in this game has now taken a step. With Calgary on top, 35-3. Jake Mayer now into the game, more than capable. He hands it off to Carey, and Kadeem Carey surpasses 100 yards on the ground in this ball game. That is a new season high, and he's done it on just 12 carries so far tonight. Well, the weather delay certainly didn't impact the Calgary Stampeders. They've come up and put on 14 more points. They lead 35-3 in a Battle of Alberta at Commonwealth on a Thursday night to kick off Week 5 in the Canadian Football League. Recap the first quarter, it was 3-3. Now it's 35-3, and Calgary really has just completely taken over every single aspect of this football game.
Yeah, you kind of feel like the screen should be tilting to the left a little bit, the way the Stamps are now dominating, not just the scoreboard, but literally every statistical category in this ball game.
Yeah, Bo Levi Mitchell had an excellent game. Looks like he might be out of this game the rest of the way. And Kadeem Carey over 100 yards rushing so far as well. And, of course, the story of Peyton Logan, who had a 122-yard missed field goal return for a touchdown, and then has a rushing touchdown himself here tonight. Jake Mayer slides in. 4 of 5 on the season for 57 yards. We know what he's capable of after getting a look at him last year. He threw for over 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions back in 2021. Of course, had that stretch of 3 straight games of 300 yards to start his career. 2nd and 5 here. Quickly, on 2nd down, fires it out to his right. And the tackle is made that time by Treston Decoux, and nowhere to go. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Decoux coming downhill in a hurry. This one's going to go, obviously, to the trailing receiver on the hitch screen, but keep an eye on the corner. Firing forward, unblocked. It's basically the lead receiver is picking what he sees as the most dangerous man to block. But Decoux sniffed that one out and took advantage of having no one on him.
First 2 and out of this ball game for the Stampeders. Cody Grace drops this down just outside the 15. And it is brought back up the right sideline on the return. Well, if you're Edmonton, you got that win against Hamilton last week, and you think maybe things are headed in the right direction, and now a wake-up call here tonight in the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah, I mean, you come in looking to build a little momentum coming off your first win of the season, a feeling of confidence, and a feeling with a rookie quarterback that he's going to take steps forward every game, and obviously that plan got derailed early when Trey Ford got hurt.
Loxley gets rid of this quickly to Walker, and Walker takes it ahead for a 1st down.
Obviously a few turnovers and some misplays along the way have definitely had an impact on this game.
Yeah, it was an 11-point game when Arbuckle missed Walker wide open in behind the defense for what would have been a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal attempt. They missed a field goal, and it was taken back the other way by Peyton Logan, and that really the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, all Stamp since that point.
Loxley to Arsenault. Arsenault moves it ahead for a 1st down. That's his first catch of the ball game. So Loxley gets this offense moving a little bit.
And, you know, just hearing you say it's Manny Arsenault's first catch of the ball game. This was a guy who had over 100 receiving yards the first time these two teams met. We look at Kenny Lawler. Lawler's been quiet the last couple games. Started the season very strong, but they just haven't been able to connect with him in the passing game a lot, or quite frankly enough, in the last 2 games for a guy who is one of the league's most dominant receivers.
Streak continues for Arsenault, 115 straight games, and with a catch. Now they'll hand it off, and Beatty takes it ahead for another 1st down. 11-yard pickup for Beatty.
Again, Beatty in the lineup in place of James Wilder Jr., who was put on the 6-game injured list last week.
Huge loss for this team, thought to be, you know, alongside Kenny Lawler, is one of the 2 most dangerous weapons in this offense. Now they don't have him. Here's Loxley. That one almost picked off. He was kind of stepping backwards and let it fly. Muhammad made a play on it but couldn't hang on. There's been a lot of talk so far this season about Winnipeg, back-to-back Grey Cup champions, starting the year 4-0. BC Lions with a couple of huge blowouts, 3-0. Then kind of quietly here, the Calgary Stampeders are on the verge of also going to 4-0 to start their season.
Yeah, maybe in not dominant fashion, as they've had those slow starts to each game, down by double figures at halftime of each of their first 3.
This is going to be picked up by Judge, and Judge is going to take it back the other way. Will Loxley be able to stop him? No! Touchdown, Cameron Judge. Will it stand, though, is the question. He's exhausted.
A scoring play will automatically be reviewed as to whether that was a completion and a fumble or whether it's going to be ruled an incomplete pass. Things happen pretty quickly here.
When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be an incomplete pass, but this one might change my mind.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Yeah, from that reverse angle, it looks like he catches it and took a step, but from the other side where you can see the football, it's not shielded by Leonard's body.
Here on the field.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Calgary touchdown.
Second career touchdown for Cameron Judge. Had one back with the Riders in 2019.
Special teams touchdown, defensive touchdown. All part of this all-around dominating performance from Calgary.
Paredes knocks it through, 42-3. A blowout in the Battle of Alberta. Judge most recently into the end zone. Bo Levi Mitchell, night likely over for all the right reasons. 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. For more on the Calgary quarterback, let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Dustin, heading into this game with the Stampeders 3-0 on the season, Bo Levi Mitchell had said that they'd been finding ways to win, but obviously they hadn't had a decisive win up to that point. Their wins had been by 3, and 7 points. He said that would he like to be like BC and win in a lopsided game? Sure, but he said he also liked the fact that they had gotten punched in the mouth early and responded, that he felt this team showed grit. Well, you look at the score right now, 42-3. It looks like Bo Levi Mitchell will get his wish of that lopsided win.
Sure looks that way right now, and they took over in the second quarter and just really have not looked back. And like we said, Calgary kind of quietly here, working their way to a 4-0 start.
Yeah, and I like the decision here by Dave Dickinson to get Jake Mayer into the game. And it may seem early to some. So often you don't see starting quarterbacks come out before, say, midway through the fourth quarter, regardless of what the score is. But you've got a veteran guy in Bo Mitchell who's had some injuries the last couple of years, so I think a little bit of load management, body maintenance for the veteran, but also valuable reps to keep your other guy sharp just in case, because as we've seen tonight, you never know when you're going to need your backup to step in and play.
And it's a guy that many people view as one of, if not the best backup quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League with what he showed last year. So get a look at Mayer the rest of the way. Loxley right now. Beatty stands in to his left. 2nd and 10 on his own 37. Loxley's in trouble, escapes it, now turns, finds a man wide open, and that's going to be a completion at the 50 as he goes to Arsenault with his second catch of the game, and that's a first down for Edmonton.
And all you can do when you're the Edmonton Elks is keep playing and keep competing, recognizing, quite frankly, that they're still trying to figure out their roster. So anybody who thinks that their guys aren't out there competing for jobs, that this is a lineup that they're locked into for the rest of the season, they're not. And so whether it's Kai Loxley maybe fighting for a few more reps at quarterback as the season goes on, or Raphael Leonard getting an opportunity to play in that receiving core right now, there's still much on the line, at least at an individual level, for the guys in green and gold.
Sean Lemon shutting down that rushing attempt from Beatty. Leaves it at 2nd and 10 at midfield. And we don't know what the future status of Trey Ford will be. All we know is that he left tonight's game and did not return. So they've gone away from Arbuckle again. And Loxley is getting an opportunity here. He's 5 of 6 for 50 yards.
Taylor Cornelius, who started a number of games for the Elks last season, still tucked away on that injured list. So should Ford be out for an extended period?
If you're looking for that pocket passer.
Yeah, there are some options, some decisions to be made for Chris Jones in the quarterback position.
Third and 3, the game out of hand. This offense will stay on the field. Nelson in the game to the left of Loxley. And a whistle. Looks like a time count here.
Time count violation.
Loxley.
Edmonton, number 10. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Frustration clearly showing on the face of head coach Chris Jones. Game that started slowly, 3-3 after the first quarter, and has just been like a snowball picking up steam as it rolls downhill since then.
3rd and 8 now for Loxley. Pressure coming from behind. They're going to get there. And it'll take him down. Mike Rose, first sack of the season for Mike Rose. Was saying earlier in the week he really wanted one. And he got home here, taking down Kai Loxley.
After review by the command center, we have unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, Calgary number 41. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the Calgary defense forced to head back out onto the field here as Mike Rose deemed he came in and head contact right there on Kai Loxley. Seemed pretty apparent.
Yeah, and this is one, it looks like Rose is eventually reaching to go for the football as Loxley had his arm cocked to throw and then readjusted when the quarterback pulled the ball down. I don't know if Dave Dickinson is allowed to be frustrated with a 42-3 lead.
Make sure when you guys reset it to the Calgary 38. They'll give it to Nelson. Nelson cuts it up the field. That's that return man speed, and he'll take it for a first down. Had a fumble earlier in the half.
And Charles Nelson using some of his running back skills. A guy who primarily a return man in college and during his time in Winnipeg. Receiver being his main position offensively, but has experience as a running back in Edmonton trying to take advantage of them.
Loxley hit as he throws it, and this one will fall incomplete, and now he is in significant pain, and they're calling for a trainer immediately. for Kai Loxley. Looks like he's holding his left shoulder. It was the right shoulder of Ford that forced him out of the game a little bit earlier on. Here's Loxley, pressure, a couple of different guys getting there. Didn't look like anything of significance on the hit.
Yeah, maybe just not huge contact, but maybe just twisted awkwardly here.
Saw Ford leave the game after taking a helmet to the back as well. It looks like there is a helmet to the back here on Loxley right there.
Yeah, Fraser Sopik was the unblocked man coming from Loxley's left side.
So 2 quarterbacks down in this game for Chris Jones and the Elks, and Arbuckle slides back in here. He's 10 of 15 for 57 yards and an interception. Arbuckle under pressure right away, and he's taken down. 3 passes to the Elks quarterback here as the Stampeders defense not letting up early in this one.
They're going to have a tough time real soon getting people to volunteer to take snaps back there the way things are going.
Second sack of the year for Demi Berglund.
Yeah, coming on a loop. Ends up completely free to the quarterback. Some communication issues at the line of scrimmage there for the Elks.
Timeout, Calgary.
Looked like Calgary had one too many men on the field, so they call it timeout. Castile will look to put a few more points on the board here for Edmonton. Calgary has just had a lot of success in a couple of different situations. One against Edmonton, 22-5. Calgary holding the advantage over Edmonton in the last decade. 5-1 in the last 6.
Calgary, a team, particularly under Dave Dickinson, that has historically had terrific starts to the season. You see his record, June and July, 21-4.
Since 2008, after a bye week, Calgary is 18-2. Castile puts it home to a roar from the crowd here in Commonwealth. Arbuckle looking for answers. An elevated role in the offense for Malik Henry this year, and look at what he's done to Edmonton in the last 7 quarters. 325 yards on 11 catches for 2 touchdowns. Had that 89-yard touchdown catch tonight pre-delay that really kind of opened the game up.
Was that tonight?
Malik Henry, that was tonight, yeah. So, hand it off to Peyton Logan. He also has 2 touchdowns in this game tonight. Some flags here. Henry doesn't like it. But yeah, they get him involved in a lot of different ways, don't they?
Yeah, and it's much like we started talking about with Charles Nelson in Edmonton. You've got a guy with return man skills. You know he can do some things with the ball in his hands in space, so you start looking for different ways to put the ball in his hands with a little bit of room to go to work. Malik Henry, such great speed. Used primarily as a return man last year, a little more sparingly on offense, but he keeps making plays. He's going to see his role continue to expand here.
I asked his coach and his quarterback about him this week, and they said, you know, he's very dynamic. He's got a ton of ability, and then they said, but he's still young. He's still learning the game. He had a fumble earlier in the year, had a big penalty that brought back a huge play as well. So still a few things to learn, obviously, but he sure looks like he can be a big part of this offense. As a completion to Kamar Jordan, and for Jordan, that's his 6th catch of the game.
Kind of a quiet 6 catches for KJ tonight, but productive nonetheless. Another guy who's been productive right there, Kadeem Carey, over 100 yards. impressive performance from him.
Averaging almost 10 yards per carry tonight. Came into the game at 4.9 yards per carry. As they get it out to middlemost, and he'll take it over the Edmonton 40.
Tyson Middlemost getting a little more of an opportunity to play tonight. A good special teams player out of McMaster. He draws into the lineup with Richie Sindani out.
This is the second catch of his career for the 34th overall pick in 2020, now 24 years old. And on the second and short, they'll push it ahead with Tommy Stevens. Now for Edmonton, they played Calgary this week coming off a bye. Next week, they go out to Montreal to take on the Alouettes coming off a bye and a coaching change as well.
And I can assure you, these are the sorts of things that coaches and general managers look at as soon as the schedule comes out, is how many times are we getting teams off a bye, or how many times are we playing on a short week, getting teams off long weeks, kind of looking for all the advantages and disadvantages of the schedule so they can call league office and air their grievances.
Back to Jordan again, ball pops out and it'll be knocked out of bounds by Edmonton, and they will take over. Got it over to Jordan. Had it, was trying to get away. Gainey and Konar came in and hammered him, popped it out, and eventually Costigan was able to at least knock it out of bounds. I look at the schedule when it comes out and goes, okay, now where are those matchups we can really hype? Calgary's going to go to 4-0 tonight. Their next two games, home and away with Winnipeg. Winnipeg playing BC on Saturday. Could have a situation if Winnipeg wins that. You got two undefeated teams going at it again next week. Calgary Stampeders in full control.
Calgary. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
As they came up Highway 2 and sent a message to Edmonton. It was close last time they played. Not the case tonight here at Commonwealth.
You're wishing you had one of those pizza subs right now,
look,
eh?
There's a 7-Eleven right by my house, and it's been a late night, so Tusty's going to be popping by for his regular on the way home, I think. Here's Arbuckle over the middle. He's got a completion to Arsenault, who's had a decent quarter here. He'll take it on to Calgary's side of the field with just over 2.5 left to play.
I'm sure the message from both bench bosses here is finish strong. When you're the Calgary Stampeders and you've had such a dominant performance, you don't want to ruin it by letting the other team put a blemish on your record in the final few minutes. Of course, when you're Edmonton, that's exactly what you're trying to do.
Arbuckle on the Calgary 51. Pressure coming, gets it away. Once again, a completion. And it'll be close to a first down. It's been a long time since people here at Commonwealth have had an opportunity to cheer for a victory. This is the 10th straight home game they will have lost. And look at that bottom number there. 999 days since the last home win. Now, that's obviously stretched out there for those 10 games with a lost season and then a shortened season, but still winless last year here at Commonwealth, and not a great start at Commonwealth this year either. Arbuckle gets it away, and Arsenault does a good job. Like that one kind of bounced up off of Roberson in his direction, and he's able to hang on. If Arsenault in fantasy, you're loving this fourth quarter, right? He's getting some looks.
Yeah, and I'm sure a few people did, given his 100-yard performance against Calgary 2 weeks ago.
Has been one of the bright spots for the Elks this year. That one falls incomplete, and I frustrated Kenny Lawler. Probably know why. Lawler tonight, 4 targets, 2 catches, 7 yards. Not what you're hoping for if you're the highest paid receiver in the league. Arbuckle near side, and that will be intercepted just for good measure. Roberson down the sideline to the 30. He's going to cut it back, take it all the way across on the far side of the field, and now he's going to come back the other way eventually. After a leisurely stroll, takes it down to the Edmonton 15. Icing on the cake for this Calgary defense. Second interception of the game, 8th of the season for Nick Arbuckle.
And we've seen this so many times before from Trey Roberson, the former college quarterback. Sees the game like a quarterback, anticipates what's coming, jumps in underneath that route. Nick Arbuckle, a quarterback with whom he'd be particularly familiar from their time together in red and white. Roberson takes advantage of that. I think the only thing that kept him from scoring was the legs gave out once that turned from about a 70 or 80 yard return into a 120 yard return with his circuitous path.
Ended up being 66 yards on the return for Roberson. That's his first interception since returning to the CFL from his brief time with the Chicago Bears.
Roberson demonstrating he can still get it done. Good break on the ball and then fully extending.
I'm wondering if somewhere Taylor Cornelius has entered the chat moving forward here, because if Trey Ford is hurt, Loxley left the game injured. Arbuckle's thrown 8 interceptions on this season. They'll hand it off right up the middle, down inside the 5.
I think I heard the panel starting Vernon Adams rumors.
That's where rumors start, right? Panels.
Panels.
Logan almost took that one home, be his 3rd touchdown of the game. He had a 21-yard rushing touchdown and then went back off a missed field goal for a 122-yard return. The clock ticking down inside 40 seconds. Quarterback keeper and into the end zone. Once again, is Calgary Tommy Stevens finishing this off as everybody gets involved. I don't think that's what it was meant for. But that's the way the night has gone for the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, the Stampeders have looked right at home all night here. (48-6). And with the way it's gone lately for Edmonton, I think many times you've thought, oh, it can't get any worse, but getting pumped at home by your provincial rival in a year where you started 1-3, not going to go over well. Paredes again knocks it home, and the lead goes to 43 points. This will be the 2nd time this year. BC hung up a huge number on Edmonton to start the season as well. And Chris Jones, the guy best known for coaching on the defensive side of the ball, can't be satisfied with this. Now again, you do have a special teams penalty and a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown as part of that Calgary point total.
I do wonder if this game would have been any different if Ford hadn't got injured. He just made that big play down the field to Loxley, and it was a close football game at the time, and then he picked up about, I think, 8 or 9 yards on that carry before he got hit in the back. And since then, it just kind of seemed like the offense lost their way, and the defense clearly didn't have an answer here tonight either.
Yeah, and maybe part of that has to do with the changing game plan. Again, obviously what you're planning to do with Trey Ford is probably a little bit different than what you think is your best path to success with Nick Arbuckle.
Calgary kicks it away one more time, comes down to Nelson. 25 to the 30. Nelson stays on his feet, pushes it towards the 40, and no further. We mentioned Trey Ford earlier in the game, left and did not return with what appeared to be a shoulder injury. You'll see him here get spun around and hit right in the right shoulder. And he has been on the sidelines with his teammates, but his right arm has been hanging by his side the entire night. And there's Loxley, who left the game after being hit heavily when he came in to replace Arbuckle, who's back in the game now at quarterback. We'll hand it off to Beatty. This gives us some time to take a look at the current standings in the West here in the CFL. Calgary remaining perfect. Winnipeg at 4-0 will play BC at 3-0 in a huge game on Saturday night from Vancouver. Of course, we'll have that for you on TSN. And there's the Riders with a game on Friday lurking around at 3-1.
Yeah, not so bad. They picture Edmonton lobbying the league to be moved to the East, where they'd be tied for first.
As this one counts down, Calgary 4-0, looking like a contender. What's next here for Edmonton, do you think?
Well, they continue to try to find the mix that they want in terms of their roster. Hope that another week of experience comes with some more lessons for them as well. You knew there were going to be growing pains. There are so many new faces and inexperienced faces on that Elks roster. They've got to keep pressing forward. There is no alternative.
Calgary came into this week talking about having won some close football games and had struggled to have good starts so far on the season. And tonight, they checked off a lot of those boxes. Bo Levi Mitchell and the Calgary Stampeders coming up the highway to Edmonton and delivering a blowout in the Battle of Alberta. Edmonton left at 1-4, looking for answers after a beatdown here at home. That's going to do it for us. Let's send it to Sports Center with my hero, Jay Onright.